Hey, do you love video games, weed, and hilarious conversations? Well, then you'll love Game Buds, the podcast where 5 friends get stoned and have elevated conversations about video games. You know, video games. Join Nick, Travis, Ryan, Andy, and Matt as they share their opinions on gaming. Listen to their funny life stories and make sure to have some munchies close by. The Game Buds are universally acclaimed and objectively correct in everything. This is true. This is true. This is Nick saying this. They really are. So do yourself a favor and tune in every week for a new episode. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. So join the hangs wherever you get your podcasts.
I heard maybe they were asked to come back. Who's changed? A lot of the English original voices are there, though, aren't they? Or am I wrong?
I think Yukari is still the same lady, but the protagonist, Junpei, is different. Simply because I've seen what these voice actors look like, and some of them, I think, were
like teenagers, or
like
kids.
No, like maybe 4 when the original game released. I don't know.
That's how brutal the voice acting industry is. You got to start at like 4, like 3 or 4 when you get through the door at the voice.
If you don't start when you're a baby, you're never gonna make it in this business.
There's lots
kid.
of baby roles in voice casting. Who else is going to do the voices, right?
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes, I am well. I'm also Persona. How'd you like that? How'd you like my Persona yell?
It was really great, but ladies and gents, we're playing Tekken this week. I don't know why you did that. No, I'm lying. I wonder if everybody can guess which game we're doing this week.
You need to shout it, Dave.
I need to shout it. Have you heard my voice? People will be like, "Whoa, who just got murdered?"
Then do one of those low whisper personas.
Oh, well, it's like
Persona. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. It's funny, ladies and gents. I'm the Persona person, or Nick, so you seem to have the energy to really display how great this. Well,
truly
great. It is a great game, but I've got the part. I used to play it as a teenager. There's that weird worry you get when a remake or a remaster gets done, and you think, are they going to screw it up?
Yes.
Are they going to ruin it? You know, because you got that fond memory as a teenager. Are they going to ruin that memory for you?
Well,
and they didn't.
Whoa! I was going to say, that's the difference between me and you. You've got these memories with Persona 3, the original Persona 3.
Yes,
and I don't.
2. Yeah.
I've not played Persona 3 in my life, ever. I've only seen videos of it. So it's going to be interesting to hear what you've got to say about this game, having already spent dozens of hours in this fictional world.
Tons of hours.
And me, who've not spent any.
Okay, well, yeah, very true. Let's dive in then. Well, Persona 3 Reloaded, ladies and gents. It's the new remake of... Is it remake? I never know if it's a remake.
Yes. It's a remaster.
Go on.
Oh, you know the difference.
A remaster is just the same thing graphically redone, and a remake is
maybe fix some technical bugs.
Yeah, okay. This is and it released for the PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC... Almost everything, right?
Almost.
Except for the Switch.
This would have been one of the most perfect Switch games to have come out. This would do so well on the Switch.
This would have been so great on the Switch.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's for the Switch 2 when that comes out.
Switch 2!
This game was developed by Atlus, which, if you know anything about Japanese RPGs, for example... Massive name. They did the was it Megami Tensei?
Shin Megami Tensei. So Atlus has been cracking away at the I think they call it the Mega 10 universe for more than almost 40 years at this point.
Yeah, they are proper old. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. the first games were Megami Tensei Devil Summoner games. There are tons and tons of them that released. I think it was even before the NES or on the NES.
Yeah, they are. I remember those being pretty old too. Yeah,
out of all of those, morphed the Shin Megami Tensei games, and a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei games were the Persona games, who have now taken center stage.
Have you ever played the what's it called, Etrian Odyssey games?
No,
also
I haven't.
Atlus.
No,
kind of like a labyrinthy type games. Kind of the same premise and gameplay. You go through a labyrinth maze instead of like floors or levels of a metaverse or a Tartarus. They also did those games, very famous games, been going for years and years and years. And they make an arse ton of arcade machines. Atlus is actually quite a prolific arcade cabinet manufacturer in Japan and Asian countries.
Really? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, because they're a part of Sega.
Yes, exactly.
Right, okay.
And of course it's big, culturally arcades are huge in the East.
Yeah.
And another interesting fact about this, which is also one of the very good shiny things about the internet and the world we live in right now, is that Atlus actually did a survey a year or so ago asking people would they be interested in remakes of games, right?
Ooh.
I guess it was after Persona 5
remember this. I think I took part in that survey.
And they asked, if you were, which games would you like to be remade? And there were 3 that got the exact same score on their survey.
Yes. Say it.
Persona 3.
Yes.
This banger. And then, strangely enough, Persona 2, Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment.
Perfect.
Which I've never played, but the idea that it got the same level as Persona 3 in votes makes me think, I want it.
Yes,
I want
same.
I don't even know what it's about. I don't know what's the subject matter, but it's Persona. And it's remade again. I'm down. Take my money. I'm like, whoa, come on, Atlus.
You know what? When Atlus sent out that survey and the results came back, that one of the top results was Persona 3, and they knew in the back of their mind that their doctors are cooking up Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
They must have been smirking to themselves.
Yeah, it's like there's just like a confidence boost just from the internet itself, like the wide internet.
They know what people want before they want it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. I love it when those types of things happen, where a company actually does something that just seems to be sensical. They ask their fans say something, and then their fans get what they want.
Definitely. It's so refreshing to have one of these studios still listen to their consumers, still listen to the players. This is okay, ladies and gents. This episode is the first pod in this week's double feature. The first game we're playing this week, Persona 3 Reload, and the second game we are playing this week is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Which is so ironic because that comes from a studio who just refuses to listen to the players.
Yeah, they know best. They
know best.
What you want, right?
It might not be the studio, Rocksteady per se, and more their publishers, Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. But there's such a stark difference between these two games and in this specific element.
It's night and day. You're right. This is going to be quite cool because it's almost literally night and day between the publishers and stuff and the game itself.
Yes.
Okay. Should we jump into narrative then?
Let's do it, please.
Again, it's one of those games where narrative is almost its fundamental backbone and everything about this game and what's going on. But so much happens, I don't want to spoil all the great things. It's like when your favorite game or your sons or your kids or your friends are playing the game you like and you like watching them play it. Now, I want to watch or subsequently not spoil everyone who's listening their enjoyment of finding it out themselves.
Okay.
But it's so good.
It is. How about this?
Go on.
At the moment, I've gotten 5 hours into Persona 3 Reload. Mm-hmm. So, potentially, I don't know any spoilers.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, potentially you're right. Like big spoilers, true.
Big spoilers, exactly. Because for a Persona game, the first 5 hours, that's still the tutorial.
Tutorial. Like you're just in the tutorial. Yeah.
I'm still getting prompts. oh, if you press R2, you can run faster.
Yeah, that's right.
4 hours in.
That's right. That's right.
So the narrative for this game, my first note is the narrative is colossal.
It is.
If this is anything like Persona 5 Royal,
Yeah.
this narrative is huge.
It's a bit smaller than Persona 5 Royal, I believe. The actual narrative.
I'm sure it is, because this is still essentially a PS2 game.
Exactly, precisely. But, yes, you're right. You haven't really got far. We can do the baselines of the game.
Okay. All right.
So this is... Go on.
No, the baseline. This game, let's say, follows some high schoolers.
Of course, it's Japanese.
Some Japanese high schoolers at the island of Tatsuyami.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. Of course. It follows the high schoolers, unnamed protagonist, and your friends at the island high school of Tatsuyami as they take a full year, to climb a giant tower during the dark hour. It's so extremely anime.
It is.
It's so anime.
It's very basis. You're absolutely right. It's teenagers getting weapons.
Yes.
Like, for some reason and
Yes.
somehow, which should be allowed. Climbing a tower in dark hour, which is between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's
to defeat shadows.
Actually, it's between 12 and 12 because it's the hidden
That's true.
hour.
It's an extra hour, right?
It's an extra. It's the 25th hour. Yeah.
And you're fighting shadows or bad guys. Climbing up the tower. Of course, hitting bosses like any game such as this. There's always bosses on subsequent towers. But I will go into other things. There are mysterious corporations. There is apathy syndrome, which is people are getting, and apathy is kind of like a state of what do you call it? Apathy? A state of
not doing anything.
Yeah, loss and kind of idleness.
Yeah,
which is hard to emotionally climb out of.
Yes.
And there's cute robots, there's massive betrayal, there's an insane final choice in this game, which is
please,
like
let's not get close to that.
And then there's death, there's life, there's the circle of life, there's just going into the psychology of what being a teenager's like, and all this game is rich with narrative, just like
absolutely fantastic. That's
food.
so.
It is fantastic.
It's so great. It really. A lot of people get turned off by the fact that this narrative is, would you say, close to 80 hours?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Especially if you don't if you're listening to it and not skipping the dialogue seeds. It's definitely about 80 hours, I'd say.
Great. Which is significantly shorter than Persona 5 Royal, which I finished in 120 hours.
Yeah, damn, it's a long game.
That's a lot of hours. Yeah. So 80 hours is fine-ish, but it is still an extremely long time.
No doubt.
What I like about the narrative in this game is that it's all based around not a plot, but around characters.
Yes, exactly right.
Which a lot of stories just still don't get right. They don't manage to click that a good narrative doesn't center around plot, it centers around its characters. And that's what made the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones so electric.
Yes, exactly right. I've fundamentally written down the same notes that you're just talking about now. It's the human condition.
Yes.
That's fascinating. It's the weakness, the struggles, the strength, the triumphs. It's this game, just like The Last of Us and other games of its ilk. You play it and you get left with like, whoa.
Wow.
And it's like watching a good movie. It's like reading a good book. It's got moments in it where you just go, okay, damn. And then you even think to yourself, maybe I should act different now, because it kind of shows you a side to things that make you go, oh, I didn't think of it from that way. Maybe I should be less, interrupting when I have conversations with people. Something it gives you a look at yourself sometimes.
Books by their covers or whatever.
Yeah, and maybe it is mean to say that Lord of the Rings isn't as good as Star Wars, even if it is factual and just based in just so much fact and lore comparatively. And this game made me realize that. No, it's got the human condition. You're right. Is where this
very true.
grabs you because you can relate to someone in most Persona games. You can relate to at least one of the characters that you see.
Definitely. During this time, you get to know each character quite intimately, and you form a close bond with each of them. Every single one. I want to ask you, you've played this game. Did you finish this game on the PS2?
I unfortunately didn't. Got very far, which is very common for me. Very far to the end, and then life happened, and then something happened.
Of course.
God knows what it was. But yeah, always
so,
does.
Who is your favorite character?
Oh, it depends what you're asking me now. My favorite character or my waifu? Because those are two different. Things.
Let's go with favorite character first.
Okay, my favorite character's always been Akihiko.
Oh yeah, Akihiko Sonata.
Cool. Yeah, and he fights with his fists.
And he's cool.
Like, yeah, I've always thought he was cool. I thought he was cool when I was a teenager when I played this game too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's always been my favorite character.
Well then, okay, who's your waifu then?
My waifu, and like I said, there's a pride that I had to. I think I played this game when I was about 17, 18 originally, and there's a pride that I had to still keep the same waifu. I can't change. So my waifu was Mitsuru
Kirijo.
Yeah.
Of course.
For me, it's the older girl, red hair, long skirt.
Yes. Boss
brainy
lady.
And controlling. Yeah, exactly. That's my type of girl. How about
Makes
you?
complete sense. I haven't spent enough time in the
No,
game.
You really don't. You only know two of the girls, so your
exactly.
waifu,
Exactly.
Choice is low.
I don't know. Oh, geez. Is her name Aegis?
Oh, yes. Later on.
Yes, later on.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I don't know Fuka.
No,
I only know Yukari and Mitsuru.
If you have to choose between the two of them, then
Yukari.
Really, just because she's cute and nice and
I guess maybe just I know her better, and we walked to school that one time.
That's true. And I had the school a buzzing. That walking to school. Damn.
Yeah. People took notice of that.
And your favorite, and of course, favorite character. The same question. Really, you don't really know them.
No, same. Yukari, I guess. 5 hours in, and you don't know these people yet.
A bit of a spoiler. There is a dog, which I am quite fond of.
He's in the trailer. It's such a cute
I was in the trailer. A dog with a kunai. Brilliant. Who doesn't want that on your team?
Yeah.
And to build a bond with.
It's so I think the dog, I don't know what his name is, something with a K. Is so much better than I think Morgana. In my opinion.
Agreed.
Just because it doesn't talk.
Yeah. Morgana did have that tendency to get a bit annoying.
Yes.
Great work, Joker! Just all the time, and yeah.
No, I
Granted, Morgana had a great Mona. Was it Mona? Well, had a great.
It's both. Mona was his code name.
Ah, okay, yeah. Had a great story arc, for lack of a better term, in Persona 5. I get it. But you're right. I take the dog over the cat.
Oh yeah.
Because he's quiet.
I can't wait to meet the dog.
I agreed.
I do plan on playing this game until I finish it. Even maybe getting the platinum trophy. Who knows?
So you got the bug. I was going to ask because you obviously got the bug in 5.
Of course I've got the bug. Of course I've got the bug. I played Persona 5 Royal 2 playthroughs back to back.
You did.
This system got me. We'll get into gameplay later, but of course I got the bug.
I was wondering because you got 5. I still understand to be like the best version of the Persona games, and it is. And even this being redone, it is still a PlayStation 2 game.
Yes,
that's been redone for nice graphics, but it's still got PlayStation 2-ness to it. So I was wondering if you caught the bug on this one the same as you did 5, because it's a bit different.
For a lot of games, the PlayStation 2-ness is a feature. And we don't get into them because they look old. So if a game with PlayStation 2-ness looks brand new, that's a win-win.
Yeah, and they have tweaked it, but we'll also go into gameplay because of... well, that's where it should be kept. Anything else narratively you want to go into?
There's so much. There really is a ton that we can get into. The town, even more of the characters, the turns the story take. I like the idea of Tartarus.
Oh, do you like that over Metaverse? Out of curiosity.
The Metaverse? You mean Mementos?
Why do I keep it? Sorry, yes, sorry. I always call it the Metaverse anyway.
I haven't decided which one I prefer. I like that Mementos goes deeper and deeper underground, and it makes you feel more claustrophobic. Because there was a point in Mementos I thought I would be scared shitless if I was this far underground.
I love that everything else is fine. The aliens, the phallic personas you're taking on, but it's the deeper underground. You'd be like, now I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like now. The monsters, the death, everything else going on. But no, now we're getting too underground. Where's the lift? Okay, yes, it was scary. It was Mementos was scary as it got deeper and deeper to like hell, so to speak.
It definitely does feel like that. And Tartarus didn't feel like that up until a specific point.
Ooh. Where?
Let's say, when you get back to Tartarus the second or third time, you get to pick the level at which you start.
That's right.
Right? And the menu that they give you, we can segue into visuals. With the menu they give you looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
On the left side, you get to pick the floor. And on the right side, you can see the screen raise on the tower.
Yeah.
The higher level you pick. And no matter how high the level I picked, I could never see the top of Tartarus.
Yes, they do that visually for you. That's true.
And it seems huge, massive. And that made me a little bit almost overwhelmed, but not as much as Elden Ring did. So, yes, there is a certain intimidation factor that you get from Mementos that they seem to capture again with Tartarus.
I agree entirely. I forgot about that side little thing. And you're right. It's a creepy looking building as well as they.
Yes, and it's massive.
Yeah. So narratively, oh god, it's so in depth. We can't do it too much. Tell you too much because they're so good to go through yourself. The little side stories with each character. Hell, the side stories you just find out when you're working a job or going to the arcade, and then you find another confidant or whatever, and it's just so much fun. And they're so meaningful and just in depth and like,
yes,
damn, you want to go through all of them. Doesn't matter. You like, I know you've got 1 year, but you really just want to go through every narrative
aspect. A year
aspect.
Isn't enough, to be honest.
No, it stresses me out thinking about it because I can't remember the game well enough to think if I can get all the stories done in 1 year in game. So it's actually kind of stressful.
I checked out. There's 100% playthrough guide.
Yeah.
That'll let you raise all of your stats, finish all the confidants, and unlock all the trophies in one playthrough.
Yeah. I know. I had that same but when it goes through my head.
Right? I really don't want to play this game with a guide.
I agree. It's like following... I agree. I had the same thing. It's like I didn't... You know the parts where in the classroom you get questions?
Yes.
Right? There's a part of me that goes, I should look this up so I get my academia up in regards. But there's a part of me that says, no. Try to get the question right, David. That's like, you can do it. And I got one wrong last night, and I'm still really pissed off about it.
Oh no!
I did. I was doing so well until bloody algebraic curves.
I usually pick, and then I look up to see if I'm right or wrong.
That's not a bad way of doing it. That's true. That's probably a better way of doing it.
And then I pick the one that's going to give me the stats.
Yeah, of course. Anything else? Oh, should we jump
let's go into visuals. I think that this game looks quite good.
Yeah.
Being a game from 2006. And it's not the game from 2006, but it's just a remake from the game from 2006. I think this game looks really well and has managed to keep the style that Atlus has been going for the past half a decade.
No, entirely. And like I said, we've both got HD 4K TVs, and it looks so crisp.
Definitely.
It's one thing I was just watching and you're right. It is to take it from a PlayStation 2 game to make it look this good. this seemed like this was a huge amount of energy and time and finance and stuff.
Yes.
Because it is so clean. Like, everything is so straight lined and high def, and the outfits are, and the fighting, everything is so nice.
It's very nice to look at.
I've got the fanboy from playing it years ago. So I've got I remember what it looked like. And now I see it now, and it's like, ooh, yeah.
I know. I can't imagine what it must feel like to have the memories of the original game, and now all of a sudden playing it like this.
Yeah.
This must be what it feels like to play Final Fantasy VII 25 years ago, and now playing the remake.
Yes, now you got me excited for playing Final Fantasy VII. No, it is. It is one of those things, and I know... we're all fortunate that I think games, or we've all basically had a game that's possibly been remade for us somewhere, yourself and people out there. And there is a nice comfort in seeing it. And then it's like bringing your old friend back, but he's now got tons of money and cool haircut. And you can't not look at it and think, and one thing which is just, I cannot stress enough how amazing they rehauled the user interface.
Oh, man.
You have no idea.
That is a big point of conversation.
The PlayStation 2, because of the era, and let's face it, games back in the day, even the PlayStation 2 era, games were hard, and user interfaces were dumb, like a lot of the time.
They were not helpful.
Yeah, and this one is so... I just can't tell you how so much better it is. It is so much better. Even in the original Persona 3, even just walking around the malls and stuff, you had to walk... The school, you had to walk from A to C and kind of remember where the school field was, or where the library is, or where the hell the staff facilities are. There wasn't any big map or even fast transport locations to them. Later on in the Portable and stuff, they did that. But it was such a schlep, and the UI was just monstrously bad. It took so long to do anything. I still remember having to go to... One of the longest parts of gameplay was management and UI management. And of course, PlayStation 2, you could only save at certain areas and stuff like that. And
They've seemed to keep that, though.
Yeah, they've got it to a degree. Tartarus is supposed to make you feel trapped, and so they don't let you save in there to kind of build the whole I've got to get to the next teleporter thing, which the original game had. I definitely
feel that.
Yeah, very much. You have to get to the next one. Got to get to the next one. Another pressure in this country, load shedding.
Yay!
I had last night. I was like, I've got to get
to...
I need to get to a bloody teleporter because load shedding in this game won't let me save in Tartarus. It was very stressful.
To any of our international friends in South Africa, we have something called load shedding. If you've not heard about it, it's government mandated power outages. Every day or second day, we have our power cut. An entire town or area of a town has their power cut for 2 hours or more.
Yeah, and it's been going for like 8 years.
8 years? It's been going on since 2007.
Yeah, people keep arguing this, and I just can't believe this is how long it takes to fix something.
It's
in
insane.
South Africa.
No, nothing's been done about it. Anyway, Persona 3 Reload. There's definitely, I've had that stress that I need to GTFO and save before my power gets cut.
Yeah, it's a funny scenario, but it's apt in this game. That just the idea, this is a user face, I don't know this gameplay, to stress you out in Tartarus is kind of the point, because in theory, it's all within 1 hour. It's all within an extra hour, but you're supposed to climb to the top as fast as you can to help apathy syndrome and fundamentally save the world.
Yeah, I definitely do feel like that. I mentioned earlier that the tower intimidates me. It definitely does its job well, and the fact that I can't save in there just amplifies that.
And weirdly, blood. There are puddles of blood. I know it's a weird...
Is that not in the original?
It is, but of course, with the 4K and stuff, everything is just... The puddles of blood in the original were there, but they were just these bland...
They were just red
pallets
circles.
Of red on the floor. But now the contrast, the bright red to the blue, just makes... It's a weird, very weird, picky little thing, but just makes them stand out more, so I actually see them more. And so you're actually physically seeing blood in the tower, which as a teenager should freak them out more, but it doesn't.
I get it. This is something that I raised in our previous Persona review, Persona 1. What was it called? Persona Revenant?
It began with R. You're right. I can't. You're better at memory. Let's say that.
Where is it? Here we go. Revelations Persona.
There you go. Yeah.
So in our first review of the first Persona game, Revelations Persona, I mentioned that in a dungeon, it morphed while the people were still inside, and you can hear screams all over, meaning people could have been morphed inside the walls.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
In Persona 3, during the dark hour, people are in coffins.
Yeah.
And a select few are not.
Yes. Yeah.
Could it be that blood that you're seeing in and around Tartarus is real?
Yes. I just remember that, like, even just you bringing up the coffin thing was such. I love that part of it too. Just the symbology that we're all locked away in a coffin when we sleep during the darkest hour. And yes, I think it is. I think it's because in the story later, people with apathy syndrome are fundamentally, unfortunately, some of them are committing suicide because of depression and apathy. And in theory, those blood puddles and stuff symbolize people are actually dying from the effects of Tartarus. Or people like yourself have tried climbing and failed.
Yes, that could be it as well. That could be it as well. The Seas squad is probably not even the first to try and conquer Tartarus.
Yes, exactly right. Could be past...
It's such... You can go so far with the speculation in this game, and I love it for that.
Well, it's just so great. And another thing, like, I only realized... I was just checking out the visuals of this game, and I realized, I don't know if it's a point or not, but Persona 3 is blue, Persona 5 is red, and Persona 4 is yellow.
Yes.
Which are the primary colours of, I was just like, whoa, is that a thing? Did I just spot something? I was like, I don't know much else to say about that, but I just clocked that last night, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Those are the primary colours.
You're right. That's right. See, it was just one of those moments. I wonder what they're doing there. But also blue is the most common color associated with depression and apathy and stuff like that. So there's the whole point of making all the user interface blue, the Tartarus blue compared to real life.
Yes.
And go on.
No, you've got an and.
And the other thing is, because it's in part of Japan, which is a port city, it's supposed to also denote the water.
I was just going to bring up the water.
Yeah. You go on. Yeah.
I was just going to say,
interface kind of has that too.
The feeling of sinking.
Yes.
That's
very true. Yeah,
also
exactly right.
tightly tied to depression.
Yeah. That's crazy that they're putting this across.
It goes so deep and so small all of a sudden.
It's like they're putting it across in the titles and the persona menu and the freaking everything just comes across with this like whoa, and it's for a reason. It's not just to look pretty, and it does look pretty.
This game, like all the others, have got layers upon layers upon layers. This is how it should be done.
Yeah,
this is
so
how
smart.
You create a masterful narrative and tightly tied to visuals and audio and even gameplay.
No, I agree.
It's excellent.
And all the I don't know if you know this. You must have got to the first anime scene, right? You're on the
yes, where you and Yukari. Yeah. Are you talking about the first one before you get to the dorm, or the one where you and Yukari take the monorail to school?
I'm talking about the one where they're attacked upstairs and you awaken.
Oh, yes.
I forget there are the little
your
animation
eyes lighten up, and you raise the evoker to your head.
That's the one I always remember from the PlayStation 3 version, because I wasn't expecting an anime scene in a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, this is so cool. But they've redone all the anime sequences in this game.
Oh, so those aren't the original anime scenes?
No, they are, of course, the same plot points, and but they're all done 4K. Hyper graphics, all shaded better. And it's been amended a little bit. I've read, so that
excellent.
Oh,
excellent.
So cool.
They've Atlus has landed on a formula with these Persona games that works, that absolutely works. And there's a big target market that likes these RPGs.
That's what people argue. These games are doing great because again, we've discussed this before, the game space is kind of crap. So, we've got all the Suicide Squad. Other games are coming out broken. The games are becoming just gaming loops instead of narrative. And then the older games that have been complete and great being re-released makes you go, like you said, this is how games should be made.
Yes.
Why are we allowing the other ones? Like, why are we giving them our money?
Oh, I see what you mean.
And that's why lots of people say that the remakes and stuff like that, we all love them and we're all reliving our games of old. But it's also that because the game space is so void of great games. Look at the remaster again of Last of Us. Everybody loves money and stuff like that, but redoing that after 3 years or whatever it is, that's because people think that it's a great game, and they're still after great games compared to all the sludge we're kind of wading through to find good ones recently. At least that's what people suggest. That's why remakes and Persona itself, because it's so in-depth and interesting, is doing so well. That's why Persona, because it's everything else out there is kind of meh, or lots of other companies only releasing meh type games.
Guess so. I think so. This could be a point to raise in value for money, but
yeah, that's true.
I'm wondering now. It's not like 2006 didn't have its duds.
No, of course not. I can't.
Maybe it's only because we're remaking the good games that we seem to look fondly back to those days. Right?
Yes,
in 15 years, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is 100% not getting a remake.
It better not.
But we might even get an Arkham Knight remake. In 15 years. That game definitely does not need a remake now.
No, agreed. And the whole like I say, we're gonna delve into another conversation about remakes and whys and whos and money and stuff. I agreed. It is an amazing game. This game does, I'm just getting so spoiled this month with Final Fantasy, Personas, like Japanese RPGs seem to
Infinite
be
Wealth.
Remade. Yeah, Jeez. It's so great. It's Christmas come early for myself. Anything else visuals you want to talk about?
I think we've veered off of visuals. I just want to say that this game does at parts keep the PS2 goofiness.
Yes.
But that's my last point. Mm-hmm. Some of the goofiness stays. When they spy on the main character in the top room, they're just looking at you on a comically large monitor. That's it.
Yeah.
that's such a PS2-ass thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very true. That's very true. There's still a lot of PS2 nostalgia in there. Yeah, you're right.
And I'm so happy they kept it.
Yes, same. Very true.
That's it. Okay. That's it. There's a ton for visuals that we can dive into. I think the style and the UI is chief among them. But let's go on to audio.
Audio man, go on. What did you think?
So, this game is such a treat. And I think I gave the audio for this game a 10. I did. I gave the audio for this game a 10 because it is a 10. The music is stellar. It's phenomenal. Once again, I've listened to the soundtrack for Persona 4. I've lived the soundtrack for Persona 5 Royal. And now I'm happy to dive into the soundtrack for Persona 3 Reload. The music is so fantastic. Each time you get anywhere, the track just perfectly changes to the track that it needs to play. When you go to school, it plays the school track and it sounds like, hell yeah, I'm going to school on this Port Island. When you initiate a fight with some shadows, you get an upbeat lady singing with a band at the background. When you get Advantage, it's almost the same track, but the hi-hat plays intensely. And you know, oh yeah, shit's not just about to go down, it's about to get insane. The music just takes...
Yeah, keep
going. Words can't describe how immaculately they nailed the feeling of this game. Right?
I agreed. It's one thing where we all the Persona 5 soundtrack was amazing. We all know that. This game has those songs in it that you don't realize that are going to be stuck in your head forever.
They really are.
I played this game, had to get up, I had to go cook some dinner for me and my wife, and I'm there over the pan, and I'm literally going da 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 do, and I'm like, why am I singing this? That's
Persona?
Yeah, Persona. But that's like the casual tune for like just walking around the mall, isn't it? I don't really. Which part? Do you know where that is associated with, or is that just
I don't.
playing?
I don't.
Really?
I haven't.
Oh.
I mean, I play more and more hours of this.
Yeah,
I'll get it.
Oh, it's right. I seriously, I don't know what it's from. Obviously, this game is a plethora of music and voice acting and effect sounds and stuff like that. But the music just gets stuck in your head all the time. I've even got Persona 5 music in my head when I think about Persona 3. And I get confused which one's which because it's all... I can't describe it. It's just good. It's so atmospheric.
It is. It's very good. You can 100. A lot of people joke that it's quite kind of Atlus, to provide an entire video game when we buy the soundtrack.
Yes, it's very true. That is very handy of them.
Oh, how nice! I get to play a video game while I listen to this music. Thank you, Atlus.
That's a good point. And another fun thing I found out, which is I think was again just because of the nostalgia, the same voice cast has been done, Japanese and English, for the new game.
What? It's the same cast.
It's the same cast, even how many years later? Yeah.
No, it can't be. I know for a fact that some of the voice actors changed.
For the English or Japanese?
Okay. English has changed.
Okay. Maybe. Granted, I read this again. I did a little bit of research. Maybe I didn't go deep enough. I heard maybe they were asked to come back. Who's changed? A lot of the English original voices are there, though, aren't they? Or am I wrong?
I think Yukari is still the same lady, but the protagonist, Junpei, is different. Simply because I've seen what these voice actors look like, and some of them, I think, were
like teenagers, or
like
kids
maybe 4 when the original game released. I don't know.
That's how brutal the voice acting industry is. You got to start at like 4, like 3 or 4s when you get through the door at the voice.
If you don't start when you're a baby, you're never gonna make it in this business.
There's lots of baby roles in voice casting. Who else is gonna do the voices, right? No, I think now you say that. I think you're right. Heather Gonzalez, who plays Yuki,
Yukari Tanaba.
Yeah, she. This is gonna sound rude. She's a relatively older lady.
Nothing wrong with that.
Which would make sense that she played the original one. She also plays Kolio Rand in Honkai Star Rail, for anybody who's into Honkai Star Rail, just so you know.
Once again, Honkai Star Rail just inserting itself where it doesn't need to be.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It just
go away, Honkai Star Rail.
Also, if you want to know that, there's actually a few of them that do voices for Honkai Star Rail. They must know each other. Because... for example, Akihito, a gentleman called Alessandro Saab, does Zhong Yuan in Honkai Star Rail.
Oh, good. Once again.
I know, right?
What's up with this?
And they also do Street Fighter. The guy who plays Pharaohs and Raji, I don't know if their name, is somebody called Alex Lee. He does Luke in Street Fighter. And then the lady who does Mitsuri Kijo, my waifu, there's a lady called Marissa in Street Fighter 6. Like,
okay, so these voice actors are all over the place.
I do love that they kind of like all know each other. It's like Cheers. Everyone who knows your name. You must go in, hey, it's good to work with you again. Didn't we do this, and this? And then go to another kid. I mean,
it's almost like the Critical Role group. They know each other so well they just decided to play D&D together.
Yes, exactly. They must really get to know one another.
Yes.
And a ton of them are actually really prolific anime voices. There's Junpei, for example, is a guy called Zeno Robertson. Granted, my handwriting is horrible. He does Hawks in My Hero Academia, which is a super popular character with wings. Yeah. We have Akihito plays in... do you know Vinland Saga?
Vinland on Netflix.
Yeah, about the Vikings and stuff like that.
Yes.
He plays the lead role in the one of the lead roles in the second season of Iger. And these voice actors are again, the top of their game. And the Japanese ones too. I didn't write down the rest.
I can imagine, yes, of course, because Persona is such an important series.
Yes, exactly.
It's such an important... It's overtaken Shin Megami Tensei.
Yes,
in Atlus's repertoire.
Yes.
As the Mega 10 Golden Boy.
And they don't... That's what the one thing about Atlus and a bunch of other Japanese studios, they don't cut corners.
No.
Like, this game would have cost quite a lot to remake, there's no doubt. And just the voice actor bill alone, both in English and Japanese, would have cost a fortune.
Yes.
Japanese voice actors, for example, are very well paid as an industry standard compared to other voice acting countries. So the budget on this game was very big.
Yes,
and
but
it deserved it.
Of course it did, but they know a good game will keep selling. Persona 5 released in 2016, and it's still being sold quite a lot. It's
and all
still
the merch and everything that goes alongside
the merch,
it.
the games, the DLC, all of that. All of that. It's the same with The Witcher 3. If you just make a good-ass game, it'll sell.
It's because very few people do the longevity thing when they do their numbers. I want to make A, and within a year, I want to make A's budget back and then some, which is insane. But if you make A and make your budget back in like a year, and then next 5 years still just keep releasing and doing, it will sell. It's just pure profit. Longevity is people don't seem to factor that in anymore.
Yeah.
Persona 5 is still being bought today.
Yes, exactly. That's my point.
Tactica just came out. It is. Make a good game. You will. I hope you will make more money.
Us gamers are a fickle bunch.
We really are.
I also have here the voice acting is also very well done, but once again, and I hate this, we've got another silent protagonist.
Yeah, that is. It's both hilarious because I always love, and granted, I've got a weird sense of humor. You always get these really dramatic bits where a guy or a girl is professing some sort of either secret or please don't tell anyone, and you don't have a line. So in my mind, he's just plain ass staring at them.
Yes,
in
just
this like
looking at them.
Like, please don't tell anyone, and you just stare. And then it's like, oh, thank God, you're so cool. You do get decision-making lines.
What would we have done if you weren't so stoked?
I know. Some of the scenes are so awkward that if you just stood there and said nothing, you would ruin it. But you're right. It is strange with how much audio there is in there that you couldn't have added audio to the protagonist.
Just do it. Just do it. Dead Space did it. EA did it with Dead Space. Isaac Clarke now has a voice in a game where he was previously a silent protagonist, and it worked. It worked, although the Japanese are much more traditional.
Well, it's that premise that it's your character.
I know. But
you've got to give it your voice. Yeah, I agree. That said, I was reading an article the other day that AI could potentially, you could say a line like "I could eat a peach for hours," which is a movie reference, Nick, if you didn't get that.
Is that okay? Is that Henry and the Giant Peach?
It was a good try. I'll give you the peach reference. That wasn't too bad.
Thank you.
It was Face Off, Nicolas Cage, John Travolta. I know you'd never get
John Travolta switching faces.
That's the one. But they're saying that you could games will soon have the feature where you can put say a few lines in your own dialogue, and then your protagonist will kind of speak like you. I don't know if that's good or bad. That freaks me out.
That's a no, thank you.
Yeah, that kind of freaks me out a bit. But yeah, that's supposedly on its way to some degree. Oh
no,
God,
thank you.
Scary. AI scary. Anyway, audio. Anything else? We got banging soundtrack. We got amazing voice actors. We got.
It's all very good. I rated this 10 out of 10. I don't have. There's one track that sounds a bit weird. There's nothing. The sound effects are great too. There's nothing I can complain about. The only thing I can complain about is I accidentally watched the video of the voice actors.
Yeah.
And now I can't separate their voices from the actors.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So when I'm listening to Junpei talk.
Yeah.
In my mind, all I'm seeing is the voice actor and not Junpei.
Oh yes, I get that. That can
But
happen.
that's an issue I've got. That's not an issue with the game.
Okay, let's jump into gameplay then.
Whoa! Gameplay for Persona 3 Reload. This is the one. How about you take us off?
It's one of those things because this is where it's going to be fun, because from my perspective, I know the original gameplay and I know how it's been polished up to the gameplay now. Ooh. You've only just this is just the gameplay for Persona 3 for you. So
yes, yeah, exactly. This is in my mind what Persona 3's gameplay has always been.
But you're wrong.
I know I'm wrong. I know that's not right. I know it isn't.
Oh, well, the gameplay, if you played any other Persona game or Persona 5, which most people have played to some degree, it is a turn-based action dungeon crawler, fundamentally. Yes. So it's all finding weaknesses, killing this, grabbing Persona, building your own Persona army type aspect. You know, it is, Persona games all run the same way in that regard.
It's called the press turn system.
Ah, okay, that's cool. Did not know that. Well, there you go. But I know, for example, the Persona 3 for the PlayStation 2 had a fatigue system in it, which was the biggest pain in the arse. You had to manage people's health. Like, they'd moan at you, I'm tired. Shouldn't we leave Tartarus now?
No, we shouldn't.
I'm in great condition. Why don't you swap me into the team? And it used to get really annoying because as fatigue set in, your characters would attack less or miss a turn and stuff like that. Kind of like Pokemon when they don't listen to you. And it was a real pain in the arse. It was. But they got rid of it. And I couldn't be happier.
I'm so glad. I think most people really like it.
We understood the premise because you're teenagers and you're climbing up a tower fighting the evils of Dark Hour. You would get tired, so there was realism to it.
Yeah, but hey, Atlus, that sucks.
Yeah, but they do leave nods to it in game. You know, you can go to Mitsuru and ask, how is everybody? There's a little tag there. You can ask, how is everyone's condition? And she says, everybody's fine to go to Tartarus tonight. Nice. Originally, that was so that you could gauge who you'd put in your team. She'd say, Junpei is knackered or Akihiko is brimming, and so that's what that part's for.
I get it. Okay, I get it. I also still realize that they still constantly tell you this one's health is low, but they don't say that. They say this Yukari is worn out.
Yes, yeah, right.
Which could mean her health is low, and also she is tired.
Yes, it's those same little, just like nods to the old game because you're like, okay, it's a weird thing to tell me. And back in the day, you used to go to the toilet to slap cold water into your face so that your condition would improve, which they've left the ability to go to the toilet in this game as a nod because that's what everyone used to do.
I was wondering, I went to the men's room.
Yes, of course.
And my protagonist did its thing, and it came out, and nothing happened. And I thought, okay,
right.
That's weird.
Yeah, Persona games, that doesn't happen. You go into somewhere, something happens, your courage builds, your charm does something, you grab something,
Nothing. Thank you, Atlus.
That was a nod, I believe, to originally the fatigue system.
So,
go on.
The entire system that they used here, at its core, is called the press turn system, which I think the first couple Shin Megami Tensei games used or popularized, where there are a lot of elements and everyone is weak or resistant to some elements, and it's up to you to find their weakness while protecting your own weakness.
Yeah.
That's the press turn system, and modern Persona games 3, 4, 5 have only built upon that with stuff like the one more baton pass, all-out attacks. Mm-hmm. But fundamentally, it's still the press turn system.
Yes, and it's a fun little system. It's simple, yet a little bit complex, and got some strategy to it, but it isn't just like overwhelmingly like, whoa, like what do I do here? No, it is. No. It's very... Those little mechanics where you can make a simple system that's still fun after like 30 to 40 hours of keep doing it is an impressive feat by any regard.
Yes, definitely. This gameplay loop is so good. I enjoy it a lot, this entire gameplay loop.
And like I said, there are other things this game has that the original. In this game, you can cook, you can garden, you can rent films, you can borrow and read books. That none of these things, which I think you'll recognize from Persona 5, had some of those things. I think you could garden with one of the ladies on the rooftop of the school. Thank you. You definitely could rent films and stuff in Persona 4.
Yes, you could. If you got I think you get a television set in your room. Yes. If you got a DVD player from the
that's right
downstairs, you can rent movies. It's so cool.
And they've added that did not exist in the original Persona game.
What do you mean, Persona 3?
Persona 3, yes, you couldn't cook.
Oh, you couldn't. Now you.
No, Persona 3 was harder. It was no doubt harder to build your stats, your academics, your charm, your courage. This is now fleshed out to be so much more fun and easy and less
so glad
grindy.
to hear that.
No, it is.
They know what the people want, and they are giving it to them in this game.
Yes, they made it, and even like after certain battles, you get the shuffled time.
Yes,
where
you get cards,
like tarot cards, kind of scenario where you can choose experience boost, money boost, persona. Back in the day, it's called shuffle time, which back in the day you used to get shown 3 to 5 cards. And then you'd have to remember which card was one you wanted, and it would turn it upside down, then shuffle it on screen, and then you'd have to pick without knowing what's on each card.
What?
Right? Yeah, I told you, it was harder. So you had to, if you wanted money, you had to follow it, and then hopefully pick the right one. That's why it's called shuffle time, which doesn't really make sense in this one.
Much more sense.
Yeah, this one, it's kind of just card time. It's just there. Yeah, I understand why they did it. The shuffle time mechanic was hard. I kind of enjoyed it because it added like a luck or a thing aspect to it. But it was they have streamlined it to be a not easy, but more streamlined, flowy type gameplay compared to Persona 3's PlayStation 2.
Yes.
Running into a brick wall sometimes with certain things. Which is cool. I like it, but I do get confused that it's still called shuffle time when you don't shuffle anything. But that's just me. I find that strange.
I think it's better than card time, and maybe some people get a kick out of it still being called shuffle time, regardless if they're shuffling the cards or not.
Yeah, the nostalgia. And another little thing they did is the school questions are all brand new. So if you were an expert on Persona 3 in the PlayStation, they changed all the questions so that you couldn't just fly through the tests.
This is how you do a remake, baby!
Yeah, I did really think that was cool.
This is how you do a remake! You keep and sometimes amplify the good, and you get rid of the bad. But you keep the challenge and you add new and somehow they managed to keep the essence of this game.
Yes,
I never played the original Persona.
That's
3.
right.
You did.
Right.
But they've somehow managed to capture the essence and build upon it. I heard that some of the tracks in this game are brand new.
Yes, I believe that's true, yeah.
And I have no idea which of them are.
Which is fine. Which is kind of more fun.
But what I'm saying is they managed to find the essence of what made this game, the tracks good,
that's right.
and make more of it.
Yeah, you could easily say, well, this is the PlayStation 2 one, right? And then be like, right? Oh, no, this is new? What? No,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
and it's in the gameplay as well. You mentioned that we couldn't have watched movies or cooked or gardened in the previous game. Now you can, but it still feels so natural to be part of this game.
Yes. But it also has that mechanic where you're trying to earn money, you're trying to level up, you're trying to go to Tartarus, you're trying to make it through school, and you're trying to build your bonds. And even the gameplay itself has that mechanic that you're running out of time because Tartarus and the apathy syndrome, it's got that level of like end of the world.
Yes.
But you've got to try and squeeze everything in.
Yes.
And you really want to find every little story ending you can.
I know I need to
so
save
clever.
the world from impending doom, but Yukari
exactly.
wants to go on a coffee date.
Yeah, and I need to know what my boy is going to do with his older woman he's trying to ask out.
Really? Who's chasing a cougar?
Oh, you don't know yet?
No, I don't know yet. Okay, please don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I can't spoil that. Yeah, it's great.
Shit, someone's chasing a cougar? Okay, I'm going to play Persona 3 after this.
Yeah, no, don't. Like I said, the gameplay, again, it's so in-depth, it's so massive. This is a Persona game, it's a Japanese RPG. They're so great. You kind of just got to play it but they just do it so smoothly. Everything ties
know,
into
don't
everything
you just
so
love
well.
good games?
Yes.
Don't you just
Yes,
love good games?
Yeah.
I'm so tired of these live service
Yes.
stains
I know where that's aimed
on
at.
the industry.
Yeah, I agreed. Anything else gameplay-wise?
There is so much in gameplay.
There is.
I ran out of notes, but there is a ton of stuff that you can do, stuff you can see, and you're right. I just want to again emphasize the fact that a couple of hours into this game, you get so much stuff to do, so much stuff you can do.
Yeah.
You somehow get overwhelmed that you want to do everything, but you can't get to everything.
Exactly.
That even after you play 365 days, in-game days of this game, a full year, there's stuff that you have not done yet.
That's the thing. You say 365, that's a lot, and you think, well, what's an entire year? But now you play the game for a few hours. You're going, how am I going to get everything done?
Exactly.
How? Only 365 days. That's not enough days.
I still think about the best bit of advice that Persona 5 Royal gave me as I was playing Persona 5 Royal.
Go on.
On every single loading screen, they would tell me, take your time.
Yes, that's true.
And that's the best bit of advice I have for that game, and the same for this game. Take your GD time.
Yeah. I agree. I even remember the PlayStation 3 game when I was a kid playing it. It was long.
Yeah.
So those 365 days, they didn't go by that quickly because I put a ton of hours into it. Anyway, gameplay.
That's gameplay.
I can only imagine this is going to be a super short segment. Performance.
Flawless.
Yeah, it's like it's there's like I don't know. I try to nitpick and I try to be nice in each segment and stuff like that. There's nothing.
No, I couldn't find anything. It could be that this is a more on rails game.
Yeah,
than
that's true. Yeah.
Most. This isn't. This isn't not an open world game, but there's definitely hard lines that this game keeps you in.
Agreed. Yes, agreed. It's a biodome, or what do they call it?
So it's much more difficult for there to be bugs.
Agreed.
If this was more open, like
yes.
Suicide Squad, then there would be lots more bugs.
No, agreed. It is because of its compact area, for lack of a better term, lot narrative depth, but the area is relatively limited.
Yes.
That means it can be polished, it can be reinforced.
The polish can be
thick. Exactly. It can be super, super clean. And it is. Nothing went wrong. No crashes. I didn't even see frame rate skips because everything's so clean and just pretty and cinematographic. Yeah, it just nothing went wrong.
It really is. The style is all there. The graphical fidelity doesn't seem that big, which is why I'm sort of surprised that this isn't on the Switch.
Yeah, right?
If they could get Arkham Knight on the Switch, they can get this on the Switch easy.
And Persona 5 was on the Switch, right? I'm not going mad.
Is it? No, I think... Was it finally released on the Switch?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Persona 5 on the Switch?
Is it not?
Yes, okay. It seems like it is finally on the Switch.
Okay,
Never mind.
But yeah, it's probably Switch 2. They'll make a proper definitive edition, which I've got later in value.
Nintendo and Sega do, I think, have some close ties now.
They do.
They definitely didn't in the 90s.
No, definitely not. Sonic would never go onto a console of
mad?
Nintendo. No,
Sega does what
really
Nintendo don't.
Yeah, exactly. Really didn't. Okay, value for money.
Oh man. Okay, there's such an incredible amount of bang for your buck.
Yeah, no doubt.
With just a single $60 or $50 purchase?
Yeah, about $50. Yeah, the normal video game price fundamentally nowadays.
There's so much game you're getting.
I do have a theory though.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. You're shocked. You're intrigued, aren't you? We all know Persona 5 came out, and then Persona Royale came out, which was a polished, amazing change.
Definitely.
It was a great version.
I paid full price for Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, same. This is a remake of Persona 3, the PlayStation version of the game. later on, Persona, there was another Persona 3 release called... I think it was Fez, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember what Fez actually stands for, but Fez. And then there was...
Fear. Enter Soul.
Perfect. That's obviously what
guess.
it is, right? And then there was Persona 3 Portable for the PSP.
Which, for the longest time, was the definitive edition.
Oh, definitely. It was a great version of the game.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it comes in. One of those versions, I think it was Fez, I'm not entirely sure, actually had a female protagonist.
Oh, right!
An epilogue, right? A fully fleshed out epilogue to the story.
Was it called The Answer, right?
Yes, that's correct. The Answer.
Yes. Okay,
that's right.
okay, I'm with you.
And they were fleshed out. And they were in depth, but they're missing from this version. So, who maybe thinks there might be another version coming out one day?
Like, Persona 5 had Royal, the definitive edition. Persona 4 had Golden, the definitive edition.
Exactly.
Are you saying Reload is not Persona 3's definitive edition?
That's where I'm hedging my bets. I think they will... Granted, I'll give you, they'll see on the money they make in this game. Everything comes down to your bottom line and finances in the end. But if it does well, I've got a gut feeling they're going to, in a year's time, it's going to be reloaded, full magazine, or what the hell technology they want to do with guns in that regard.
Okay.
I think they're going to do, because the missing epilogue is actually really good. And people were a bit upset not to have the female protagonist in this version of the game.
I get it.
Understandably
representation and all that.
Yeah. So I think there might be a definitive edition, especially with the Switch 2 coming out at the end of the year-ish.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right?
That makes a lot of sense. How? Persona 5 came out in 2016 and Persona 5 Royal came out... Was it 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, it came out quite a bit later.
Yeah, 3-4 years later.
Yeah, it really was quite a bit later.
It could be that 3-4 years from now we'll get the Persona 3 version to end all Persona 3 versions.
Yes. I kind of hope so, because I don't want to spoil anything, because the epilogue is great, but the epilogue, of course, is very definitive on the ending of the story, so I can't say anything. But it is really good. It's a Persona game, what do you expect? And... I'd really love to play that redone, looking super pretty and on a PlayStation or whatever. I'd have been excited. I'd have to give them my money again.
But would you? Would you?
I would, yeah.
If this game is so good, 3 years from now, when you've forgotten most things, would you pay for a bigger version of the same game again?
Yes, as long as, like we said it before, because the games are good.
That's it. There you go.
I will support it and also enjoy having it. Because
that's it. Because the games are good.
Yes, I would. I'd have 2 copies. I've got both copies of Persona 5 Royal, physical copies. I keep them.
Of course. We are fans of this type of game, the anime, JRPG, turn-based gameplay, but these games are good and also really not for everyone, which is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Very true. Not for your first-person shooters or your people who like fast, intense action. Yeah. And that's what the great thing about the gaming sphere is. There's
something for everyone.
Exactly. So what did we score this, Nick?
Before we get to the scores, there's just one more thing in value for money that I think should be raised.
Yeah.
All of their games launch with some small DLC.
Yes, very true.
Outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those outfits should be part of the game?
This is one of those things where it's kind of almost like a Japanese culture thing. It's become so prevalent in their game releases and their merchandise and their figurines and stuff. It's almost tradition now. I agree that the DLC for this isn't really much and it's not hugely worth it. If you like your people wearing different clothes, and I think there's some nods to Persona 5 in the DLC clothes and stuff like that, it's nice. Is it worth more money? I've never been a cosmetic person, but that's pretty much all that, especially on release, that's all that's in the DLC, right?
Yes,
the cosmetics.
It is. There's no DLC characters, levels.
I don't know. I get it is actually like almost a Japanese tradition now. So I get that's why they kind of put that in there.
Yeah.
But I find it kind of meh. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's I know it is a bit traditional in Japanese game development to add some outfits
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do eat that stuff up.
They do.
I'm not a big fan. I think this wouldn't have flown in the PS2 days. You would have gotten outfits that you unlocked.
It's true. I'm trying to think back, but yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think it hurts too much.
No. As long as it's, like I said, as long as it isn't like Infinite Wealth. Like what they did with the new game plus. That's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. A few outfits, sure. Yeah, it's like, okay, it is what it is. If you like the outfits, then you get something a little extra. If you're like us, you're not missing out if you don't get it. So that's also, that's fine.
Okay, Persona 3 Reload. And not Reloaded, just Reload, game companies.
There you go. That's what the new one will be. Reloaded. Persona 3
We've cracked
Reloaded.
it. We've cracked it. Buy the domain.
Quickly, www. I'll get there now.
Our scores for Persona 3 Reload. We enrolled at Tatsuyami Port Island High School. I think it's what it's called.
Nice,
I don't know.
It
took the monorail one day. Did not turn into coffins at midnight. Climbed Tartarus and found at the top of Tartarus a copy of Persona 3 Reload with the letter grade rating of A-.
Which
A-.
We've said this before. Getting an A+ game is pretty much impossible with our marking system. It would have to change the world.
Yes,
so
which I think GTA 6 is gonna do.
Yes, yeah, he's hoping, yeah. So it's near impossible, so A- is pretty much perfection.
A- is good. That's a good-ass game. That is top class, top tier.
Really
A-.
It's the same as Ragnarok. It's the same as what do we have?
It's the same as Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, exactly. And it is. It's up there. This is why we love good games. Get good grades because they're good games. They're not.
Yes. Good games get good grades because they're good games. That's a bumper sticker if I've ever saw one.
That's like marketing 101. I should work for friggin'
it's great.
Suicide Squad and tell them how to do things properly.
Oh, come on.
But it's a great game. It's one of those games that I think everybody would enjoy. Yeah, granted, if you're not into those things, I get it. But there are aspects of this game that you pick up and go, "Whoa, that's really kind of cool." Like,
that is good. That's a good game.
What type of gamer you are, that really is a very good game.
I think even if you're not into turn-based gameplay or JRPGs, give it a go. Just give it a go because this is some of the best there is to get from this genre.
It really is.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this week's first episode. If you'd be so kind to leave us a review, that'd be mighty kind. You can follow us on all social channels, YouTube, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. You could catch me on email. I'm nick@criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Besides, if you email Dave, where else can we follow you?
Well, I am out and about, and granted, it's one of those scenarios where I now think of something in-game which was really, really bad, but this game is really good. And so my mind is like, what's bad about this game? I'm trying to think. And then I'm
imagining something to do with the coffins. Am I right?
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not right.
I know, yeah. I found there's a character in this game that is annoying. He's a teacher, and all he talks about is samurai.
Oh, it's the one with the helmet.
Right? Even when I'm playing the game, I'm thinking we're trying to do a history lesson and he's the worst history teacher ever. But he loves samurais. So, again, just like one of my cliched ones, it is hard to do with such a good game to think of something bad. I'm going to have this gentleman teach you about samurai 24/7, continuously in any context that you do, in regards to cooking sausages, he's going to bring up some sort of samurai aspect, and he's going to make you wear one of those cool samurai helmets all the time.
Listen, some people are into that.
I know, some people would absolutely love that, and he does know quite a lot about samurai. So yeah, this game's too good to think of something
that's
bad
That's the problem. This game's too good.
It is.
Don't blame Dave. This game's too good. Instead of blaming Dave, how about follow us, support us on Patreon for exclusive content like Critical Cinema or our post show, which are all very, very cool. Unlike Dave, what have we got lined up for later this day?
This is hard to compute. I want to say what we're playing next week.
Yeah.
But I can't.
A double feature, baby!
It's a double feature. And it is. Listen up for our next episode, which is coming out now. in this moment. It's a double feature. It's great. We're going to be playing, again, like we pointed out before, kind of a other side of this coin, night and day.
Good and bad.
It's good and bad. Suicide Squad kill the Justice League.
Do they? Is that what's happening? I don't think
As
so.
a name, like, if I knew nothing about the game, I'm intrigued.
Yes.
I'll give them that. I'm like, because that's kind of like a comic book thing, sorry, isn't it? Right, Kill the Justice League, it's always been like a premise.
Kill Superman definitely has been.
Okay. But anyway, we'll delve deeper into that in the next episode.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see you not in this next double feature. Cheers.
Cheers.